Welcome to the Alameda County Pod Training Module for Leadership Roles. There are leadership roles at all levels of the incident command system that share many things in common. As a unit leader, group supervisor, or section chief in the incident command system, you have additional leadership responsibilities and challenges. To avoid overload, ICS tries to limit immediate subordinates for any leadership role to only 4 to 7 people. As a team leader, you are the chief decision maker at your station. Each pod has a mission, and each station plays a critical role in that mission. Your part of the mission is to ensure that your station and team fulfill their functions within the pod. The first thing you need to do is make sure that your team knows their roles. Make sure everyone has a job action sheet and understand their responsibilities listed on it. When someone joins your station for the first time, review their roles and the mission. If you have any best practices or tips, share them. You're the last trainer that they will get. Generally, the first hour or so of each shift requires adjustment to the role. Initially, staff may be anxious and need positive reinforcement. Once their roles are familiar, people often fall into a productive rhythm. Second, make sure your station is equipped with all necessary equipment and supplies to operate successfully. And finally, put your team into action and trust them to learn more as they go. Every emergency is different. Adaptation and on-the-job learning are part of the process. The subroutines you and your team develop to perform your role and fulfill your station goals are crucial. Pass them on. Make sure to train at least one replacement for yourself to ensure continuity in case you become ill or are delayed on your next shift. If this is a training exercise, try to include everyone on your team, because they're all preparing to become station leaders themselves in a real event. Many best practices can only be discovered through experience. At the show form station, for example, some team members found that they needed to carry a clipboard to write on. Others preferred the wall as a writing board, and one found that using a marker as a ruler to quickly cite yes or no answers was a handy trick. As teammates discover methods that work better, help spread them. As a leader, you may be more mobile and better able to communicate good ideas. Your attitude, confidence, and calm demeanor can improve the efficiency of the pod. As a leader, you're the one empowered to make decisions to keep up with changes, and these decisions can save lives. You're also the number one enforcer of the number one rule in a time-critical event: speed equals survival. Be positive and supportive, but always keep the line moving. For some teammates, this may simply mean curbing their habit to chat with clients. But for you as a leader, it means constant awareness of what it takes to keep the line moving as quickly as possible. Listen for problems that may arise. Staff, police, and the public are all in this with us together. And recognize that good solutions may come from any source. One of your greatest resources is the public. If there's a language barrier, someone else in line from the same community may speak the language. If someone in line needs a little guidance, people around them can be engaged as a support network as they move through the pod. If a client has medical issues or real complications while at any of the stations, they should be referred to medical evaluation, where a clinician can take over. It's not only appropriate, but preferable to pass clients to special needs if it keeps the express line moving. Of course, it's important not to overwhelm the special needs track. They serve as backup for the express track, but their resources are limited. Remember that this is an emergency situation. Everyone's feeling heightened emotions and stress, even if they're not showing it, including you. Make sure you and everyone on your team gets regular breaks with food and water. And stay hydrated. As station leader, you're also the #1 guardian of your team's health, and this includes their mental health. Emergency operations can be tough business. People may feel that because it's tough, everyone should be serious. But you can be serious without being grim. People should be allowed to feel good about what they're doing, and they should enjoy their work and the service they're providing. As a leader, you can help them by recognizing their efforts and encouraging them. Remember that everyone is important to the overall success of the pod. Depending on the disaster, psychological first aid may sometimes be needed. Link people to the appropriate mental health services whenever necessary. In general, psychological first aid during disasters consists primarily of reducing initial distress and addressing immediate physical needs. Remain within the scope of your designated role. You can often provide the most help by modeling a sense of confidence that others in a disaster do not always feel themselves. Be aware that people might be irritable and anxious. Try to de-escalate any confrontation and move it out of the critical path. And don't be afraid to call for security if there's any threat of violence or disruption to the flow of the pod. Also be aware that in large disasters, rumors can run rampant. It's your job to communicate only accurate information. If you don't have accurate information, don't improvise. It's okay to say, I don't have that information, but I'm going to try to get that information for you. Sometimes that information will require additional references or services outside of the pod. Keep your team focused on its designated role and refer clients to questions and answers at the end of the pod or back to their family physicians or online resources. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Often, station leaders are the first to recognize needs that can only be solved by the command staff or outside resources. One of your primary tasks as a leader is to complete an ICS unit log number 214 to provide a record of the work of your unit. This is very important because it affects the work of a lot of people to follow you. Most of the information is self-explanatory, but be aware that sometimes the incident name is assigned a specific mission number by the state to simplify reimbursement. Most important is the activity log. This is the summary of key events that occurred during your shift. Try to be specific, because this may be the only record of what occurred. The other form that's most useful to you if you have an immediate need, like requesting additional supplies, is ICS message form number 213. Fill it out and have a runner deliver it to the appropriate section. To quickly review, keep your team focused on their roles in the pod mission of mass care and dispensing. As a station leader, your responsibilities include making sure everyone understands their role and performs it with maximum effect. Start with clear goals, but be ready to learn as you go. Be adaptable, especially if adapting will speed up the line and save lives. At the same time, protect everyone's physical and mental health, including your own. Make sure you and your staff drink plenty of water and take breaks as needed. Model positive behavior and confidence, even in the face of disaster. Communicate accurately and consider the public standing in line as another resource to help fulfill the pod mission. Recognize that everyone has something to contribute in the effort to help save lives. Your team is important and your station is essential. Thanks for stepping up to a leadership role. If you have additional questions, make sure to ask your supervisor. And whether you're in a training exercise or an actual event, we hope this leadership module will help you perform your role successfully. Thank you. This pod video training series is brought to you by the Alameda County Public Health Department, Office of Public Health Emergency Preparedness, in collaboration with Applied Creative Training, Inc.